So today at CSL Kauai, we're saying that it's easier said than done. Right? Sometimes it is easier said than done. You know, we're taking a class with Jean Houston right now, this beautiful philosopher and author, and online, of course. And it's called Using Your Quantum Powers. And that's what, you know, what we're finding as we're taking this class is that our quantum powers are what we teach in the science of mind. And that is that we have powers within us that we don't even have not been using, actually. When they say, you know, you're only using so much % of your brain, I mean, it's really true. And one of the ways we use it is by living it and going out, not just saying what we think is true, but actually living it. And it's not always easy to do that, given what's happening in the world at different times, right? Or in our lives. Right now, I'm getting ready to go through some dental work. And I don't know about anybody, you people, but the dentist is something I usually try to avoid. But anyway, but I'm giving over to it. And I'm allowing it to know that that's God too. And that as I walk through this experience, that the power and presence of spirit walks with me. That's what I mean when I say I live it. Because you can't just live it when things are looking really rosy. You have to live it all the time. And it either is or it isn't. So as I go through this experience, it either is or it isn't. It is. And that's what I choose to believe, and that's what I choose to live. And to me, that is what this teaching is all about. It's not about just shouting the words. Like, we can go around saying God is all there is, or, you know, there are no sick people in the world, as Emma Curtis Hopkins says, but, or maybe it was Ernest Holmes, I don't know. But, you know, that is true in theory, that there's no sick people in the world, because within we're all perfect, but we can't just go around shouting things out, and when we don't have any basis within us to live that. So it's all about living it. That's all this teaching is. And I think that one of the things that's so difficult for so many of us is to take responsibility for that, to take responsibility that our life is our life and that nobody's doing anything to us, that we are the ones that are the drivers in the driver's seat and co-creating with God, co-creating with spirit. We are unstoppable. We can do anything, but we got to practice because we're not used to it. We've been sold, like many of us have been sold so much about how little we are and how we can't do that and we can't do this. You know, from the time we're growing up, we're told no, 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 no. So some of those things we have to break through them, and we have to be patient with ourselves and allow ourselves to stumble and to get back up, but to always know that there's something within us that's going to hold us no matter what. And that's the way I want to live my life. And I invite you to just, you know, entertain the idea. Ernest Holmes, who was the founder of the Science of Mind and Spirit, if you don't know that already, who's interesting because he says, he tells us in this thing called the Sermon by the Sea, which I have some quotes from, which is one of the last things I think close to the end of his life that he gave this. The Sermon by the Sea was in this place called Asilomar. Is people familiar with it? Yeah, in California. They would meet there, and they did up till just recently. I think they're doing it, they're going to start it again. But CSL would meet there every year and have like a retreat. And the talk that he gave was from there. But, and so what I was trying to say is Ernest Holmes is the founder of the Science of Mind and Spirit, if you don't know. But in this thing called the Sermon of the Sea, I just want to read you some of the things he said because they're so relevant to us. And they're relevant to what Patrick and I are basing this center on. This center is based on the idea that we're giving people tools that they can use, that they can go out into the world with, and not just theory. And so he says, our teaching is not something to be lived merely here, and he's talking about Asilomar, but I'll say here at this center, but rather to take that consciousness which we have arrived at back with us into whatever activities we may be engaged in. So we sit here on Sunday and we get inspired, but are we taking it into our lives? That's the most important thing. Are we meeting everything that everything that comes in front of us from that place. He says, I do not believe life is separate from living. Life is not separate from living. Spirit is not separate from living. We have to take spirit into living. And I don't know about you, but I feel like with all that's going on in the world, and we are being challenged by so much right now, and that if we don't take spirit into living with us, then who's going to be there with us? We're just going to be like these like fragments of disconnected energy that don't know who they are, and we don't want to be that. We are strong. We can help by that place. So he quotes Emerson as saying, "It is very easy for us to maintain a spiritual equilibrium in solitude, but the great man or woman is he or she who in the midst of the crowd shall still keep the sweetness and the independence of solitude." So I know even for myself, I meditate every single solitary morning, and then I walk out into the world. And sometimes I meet something, like I told you last week, by the way, I made those tires. I didn't make the tires, but I painted the tires this week. And yes, and they're sitting in the backyard. I don't know, like, are they really? I don't know, but I put flowers in them because I didn't want to put vegetables in them because I felt like somebody said rubber leaks or what, toxic. So I put flowers in them, and they're sitting there, and I'm waiting for the flowers to grow. But I did it. So that's a way of like I didn't just say it, I did it. So I challenge you for whatever you're saying you're going to do, just go do it. Go do it, right? Okay. So where I don't even know where I was, but I was talking about meditation. So we go out in the world, and then what happens? We, sometimes we get struck by something and we just, we get all off of equilibrium like I did last week. So he talks about Jesus. He really, if you read the Science of Mind textbook, he quotes Jesus, I think it's like over 800 times or something. Jesus was one of his mentors for sure. And I always think of the Science of Mind as practical Christianity because it doesn't have any dogma in it or telling us what to do, but it's taking what Jesus taught, which was to love everyone, and that God was within us, and it is done unto us as we believe, and it's living by those principles, and those were principles that Jesus taught while he was here. So anyway, Jesus says, he just said that it is the Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom. Then he goes, why don't you take it? He had a real sense of humor, I think. If it's the Father's good pleasure, and who's the Father? It's within us. It's the universe. It's love. Like I said, it's not a man up on a cloud. It is that divine heritage that we are. We come from our parents, but we really come from God. That's where we come. So if we have everything, why aren't we taking it? He's saying. And then he says, he said that there is nothing but God. And he goes, why don't you believe it? I was like, okay. Do we really believe there's nothing but God? Nothing but good, nothing but life, nothing but source, no matter what's happening? Do we really believe that? And the only way we can prove that to ourselves, that we really believe it, is by living it, by looking at something maybe that's discordant or a person that we're having an issue with and saying, oh my God, that's God too. And our mentor, James Mellon, used to say, no matter who's speaking, God is talking. So if we really looked at our relationships that way, our discordant relationships and things that we have trouble with, and we just said, oh, it's God talking. Because usually what's happening when we have a problem is that it's us reflecting back to ourselves something that we need to heal or something that we need to know more. And if we can look at our troubles that way, it'll be a lot easier. And we'll grow a lot faster. So then he says, I love this. The thing that interests me now is that every man shall find his Savior within himself. That's what we teach here. If this is the only place he's going to discover God, you may be sure it is the only avenue through which any way shower shall lead him to God. So one of the things that I use as a guidepost when I'm looking at what's out there and what people are saying, even Gene Houston and whoever I'm listening to, and we're listening to Cry On right now. We're like out there just listening and just seeing what people have to say. Now, if it doesn't bring me back to myself and my own power, then I just cross it off my list because I'm 68 years old And I've gone all the gamut of stuff. And I realized that if I don't bring it back here, I'm never going to be happy. I'm never going to have what I want in life. I'm always going to be looking. I'm always going to be sinking. So for me, it's good to listen to what people say, because sometimes people say things in a way that, I mean, I'm saying things right now, and some of you are resonating to it, and some of you aren't. But sometimes you'll say something, and it will just like strike a chord in you, and you'll go, ah, I get it now. And so that's what I like to look at, the way different people say things. But if I keep listening and then don't do anything about it, then what's the point, right? And so it has to lead me back to myself. And then he says, you find me, and he says this several times in this talk, you find me 1,000 people in the world who know what religious science is and use it and live it as it is, and I myself will live to see a new world, a new heaven, and a new earth here. There is a cosmic power wrapped up in a cosmic consciousness and purpose. I hyphenated this word so I would say it right. Purposiveness that is equal to the vision which loses it. So, okay, so what's religious science? Okay, all it is, it's not a religion. I don't know why they call it religion. That's why they changed it to Centers for Spiritual Living, because nobody likes the word religion, apparently, and nobody likes the word science. I don't know. But anyway. What is religious science? All it is what I tell you every Sunday when I stand up here and I say it's the power and presence of God is within you. Use it. There's a law of cause and effect that is answering yes to you every time you do something. Every time you think, it's answering yes to you. So he's saying if there were more 1,000 people that actually lived that we would see a new earth. Now it's hard for me to believe that this was probably written in 1950 or something, I don't know, somewhere between 50 and 60. So it's hard to me to believe that there's not 1,000 people on the earth that are living this. And yet, I think he's saying living it 100%. And so that's the thing. So that's our mission for me. So anyway, yeah. So he says, Ernest, am I doing it wrong, Ernest? Am I not giving your message the right way? I didn't quote you correctly. I'm so sorry. He wants to chime in. He says, find me 1,000 people who know that and use it, and the world will no longer be famished. How important it is that each one of us, in his simple way, shall live from God to God, with God, in God, and to each other. So, how important it is that we see God in ourselves and stop putting him, her, whatever it is. It's not a him or her, it's a principle. Stop putting it way out here and bring it right here. Live it from here and look at each and every person you meet, no matter what's happening from that place. And when there's some discordant thing happening in the world, like right now, we're having a lot of conflicts, a lot of stuff. I mean, it's nothing new. We've been having them. I mean, we just keep doing the same lessons over and over because we need those 1,000 people. So I don't know how many people are in this room right now, probably about 50. That's a good start. It's a good start to get toward those 1,000 people. And does it mean that we never make a mistake or we never fall off? No, but awareness is the first key, awareness. And once we have awareness, and then we see ourselves when we aren't truly meeting it, and we go, oh, not that we beat ourselves up, we go, oh, that didn't feel good. I don't want to do that again. And yeah, that's the way I look at it. So it's not just about our words. It's about what we do. And our words have power. There's a writer, Florence Scovel Shinn, or Shinn Scovel, whichever way her name is written. I think her book is back there. I love her book. It's called Your Word is Your Wand, and Game of Life and How to Live It. And she's all about the word. And the word is very, very important. And the word is where it all starts. It's like Emma says, I think it, I speak it, I write it, I live it. But you got to get through all four. Not necessarily you have to write. I always say that because not all of us are writers. But we do need to think it, we do need to speak it, and we need to live it. So it's going to take not judging by appearances. Not judging by appearances, because that's our trap, is when we judge by appearances. And to get a vision like Dr. Walt said in his quote, and start living that vision. Make a choice to live that vision, and have conviction about it. Don't let yourself, if you fall back, just get back up and say, no, I know God is greater than this. This power that lives within me is greater than any of this, and live it. So, yeah. So you find me 1,000 people in the world who know what religious science is and use it and live it as it is, and I myself will live to see a new world, a new heaven, and a new earth here. There is a cosmic power wrapped up in the cosmic consciousness and purposiveness that is equal to the vision which looses it. So, he's going to sing a song right now. That's called,
Hopefully
what's it called?
Sing along.
What's it called?
I hope you dance.
I hope you dance. I hope you dance. I hope you live this philosophy. I hope you just, I don't even hope, I know. We don't hope. We know that we can live this, and we can dance, and we can enjoy life, and we can meet its challenges and know that there's something in us that's greater than that. So namaste.